It's time for Mind Your Business with Emmy Award-winning broadcast journalist Charlene Mitchell.
Something happened to my headset. Bear with me. Bear with me. Here we are. And welcome back. Welcome back. That was a really unusual caller that we had to end out that last segment where we were talking about funeral homes. We were with the Kemp Funeral Home, Jackie and Stephen Kemp, and James Santu from the Santu Vault Company and Crematory over in Livonia. It's a subject really that people don't want to talk about, but it's a subject that people need to talk about. Because like I said at the beginning of that segment at 9 o'clock, we've either planned someone's funeral, we're going to plan someone's funeral, and we're going to have some kind of funeral and or whatever it is we decide to have. One thing is certain, you're going to die.
It's true.
Most people have not lived to tell about it. Wow. We have in studio, and I did not deliberately plan this, but we actually have in studio a physician, a medical doctor, a bona fide medical doctor. His name is Herman Williams. I'm going to put up his book. Here is his book. He actually was dead. Now, he's sitting next to me. He is not dead, but he was dead. Before I try to explain any of this, because I just got my hands on the book tonight, please tell us what happened to you. Because some people, like Ray who called last, he said, this show is freaking me out. He said, holy moly, you guys are freaking me out. I said, you wait until the next guest comes on. Okay, what happened to you?
Well, I had been experiencing lightheadedness and symptoms, rapid heart rate. And I was evaluated by a cardiologist. I had a stress test, echo, treadmill, everything, and everything was normal. They said, you are fine. You are good to go.
The epitome of health, huh?
That's right. And was very healthy, no medications, no nothing. Was playing basketball on April 28th, 1991 at approximately 1 p.m. and dropped dead on the basketball court.
Oh, wow. How old were you at that time?
31 years old.
I mean, you're still a young man. I mean, and you were in great health.
I was
You're out there doing,
health.
Exercising, which is good for one's health.
Yes.
And you dropped dead. Where were you? I mean, you were in the midst of with other people. They must have freaked out.
I was in Seattle, Washington at the Ravenna Eckstein Community Center playing basketball.
What did people do? Well, maybe you don't know what they did because you were dead. But what did they tell you afterwards that the response was?
Well, first of all, they said, you are the luckiest person in the world because, number one, your wife was the scorekeeper and she saw you fall down immediately, so she yelled for everyone else. Number two, I was in Seattle, which had the highest response rate of people who would survive in an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest.
Really? Did they have the defibrillators and all that stuff there?
Well, that's another story.
Oh.
We'll get to that. But I also was on an anesthesia basketball team, so I had 4 anesthesiologists who were experienced in doing CPR. They started CPR immediately. So I had someone recognize right away, call folks. They started doing CPR, and we waited for the EMTs to come. And they brought the defibrillator, and they ran out on the floor, they put it on me, and they said, clear! And the defibrillator didn't work.
What did clear mean?
It means everybody remove your hands from the body so you don't, when the electrical current from the defibrillator charges, we don't want anybody else to get shocked. So they say, clear, that's what you say before you defibrillate someone, but nothing happened. The device did not work.
So the device itself was defective?
It was defective.
Oh, gosh. And you're laying there, I mean, technically dead?
Yes.
For how many minutes, seconds?
Probably, I would say probably 2 to 3 minutes.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. And then they had to resume CPR because the defibrillator didn't work.
I mean, with your heart actually stopped.
Yes.
So is that considered a cardiac arrest?
Yes.
Wow.
Cardiac arrest.
Now, did they find out later? Well, then tell me the rest. I mean, when did you come back?
So then they started CPR again. They're doing manual CPR, and probably for about 8 to 10 minutes, they finally got another defibrillator on the scene from the paramedics, and that one worked, and they were able to get me back into a normal heart rate.
And when you came to, and you're looking around, well, when did the basketball game end? What happened? I mean, what did they say
Well,
to
my
you?
first question was, who won and how many points did I score?
Oh, boy, how'd they break it to you?
Well, first of all, I did not wake up until I was taken back to the medical intensive care unit, and then later that night, I suddenly woke up. And all I could say to my wife was, what happened?
I mean, the other people thought really that you were deceased.
They said you were what we
gone.
call cyanotic. You were basically turning blue and purple. Your heart had stopped. You
And you
were
have
not
doctors
breathing.
on the scene, and they thought
Yes.
that you were a goner.
They thought I was gone. And they said
Wow.
later they would tell me, we knew that even if we were able to resuscitate you, you were probably going to have brain damage because of the amount of time that we had been doing
Well, you
CPR.
don't look or act like or talk like you have any kind of damage at all. I mean, so does this change your whole outlook on life?
Yes.
What does it do to your
Yes.
psyche?
So that was the first event of several that I was able to successfully survive.
You
And
died more than once?
Yes.
Oh. Oh, okay. We have a man
Some
here
of
in
us win the
studio
lottery.
who has died. He has died. This is not, we wouldn't joke about anything like this. He was declared, dead. And he's a doctor. And he was surrounded by doctors who thought that he was dead because he had cardiac arrest. So this happened how many times with you?
Well, this happened in 1991.
Have you been good since?
I've been good since until
Because we don't want anything weird happening in the studio. Okay.
until May
CPR
16th.
anybody?
Until May 16th of 2017 when
My
I
mom's
had
birthday.
another cardiac arrest.
Wow. So how many years were between the two? The first and the second?
26.
26 years? Wow. That's amazing.
Well,
Now, did they detect some kind of congenital
Yes.
heart defect?
yes. So I have a genetic heart disease called right ventricular dysplasia. And what it does is my muscle in the right side of my heart, in the lower chamber, the muscle is replaced with fat. And that fat causes the rhythm not to go through the heart in a nice, normal way, like most people.
So the blood is not circulating in the four chambers.
Well, it is, but this is really an electrical problem. So the current
Oh, wow.
that causes the chambers to contract bounces all around, and it doesn't go nice and smoothly like most people's hearts.
Do you feel that happening? I mean, did you at either of these times feel like there's something wrong?
Yes.
I'm feeling something weird.
Yes.
And then
so,
you just went out.
So,
So you knew, but there was nothing you could do about it because it happened fast.
the early warning is really a kind of a thrill because the heart just bursts into a rapid heart rate, and I feel a little thrill. So the last thing I felt in May was, I said, what? I grabbed my chest, and this man, the last thing I remember him saying was, are you okay?
Wow.
And that was it.
That's amazing. Was that a caller for us or someone? Okay. When you look back at this, and what made you write the book? Because do you find that a lot of people maybe don't believe you or think this is exaggerated? Like, who could really die? I mean, we hear of people maybe, like, for a few seconds, they think that they're not going to make
Right.
it, and then they're really not dead.
Right,
And then they get them back because they're, like, maybe right in between.
right.
But you say 2-3 minutes. I mean, that's...
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
then for it to happen 26 years later.
again,
So what did you have to change, if anything, in your life and with the heart in order to prevent this from reoccurring?
well, first of all, I have heart disease, so I'm always at risk. I'm taking antiarrhythmic medication, which is supposed to stabilize me. And the event that occurred last year, it broke through the medication, and unfortunately, I had an event. But I also have a defibrillator, and that's on the cover of my book. That is
Right.
actually my X-ray.
You have something inside
Yes,
your chest.
I have a defibrillator that will fire if needed.
So it'll work on its own.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how advanced have we gotten with these kinds of internal devices for the heart?
Incredibly advanced. That device will first detect a heart rate, and then it will say, okay, I'm going to try and capture your heart rate and pace you down on my own. I'm going to do that 3 times. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to shock you. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to shock you a second time at a higher rate. And then if that doesn't work, I'm going to shock you again at a higher rate. So it's very intelligent. It's able to tell the difference between an arrhythmia and a rapid heart rate due to exercise. So if I'm exercising, it knows, oh, he's just working out. That's
So
not
you
a
still
danger.
can work out?
Yes.
Do you still play basketball, or are you a little leery about that?
I'm a little leery about
let's stay away
that.
from that. Just do maybe some lighter things.
And only because the feeling I get from working out when my heart rate gets fast is very similar to the feeling if my heart rate got elevated because of
Because
an
basketball is
arrhythmia.
requiring so many various moves. And
Yeah.
now, how did this affect your wife, your family? I mean, they must have really been so worried about you.
My wife is an angel from heaven who was sent down. I don't know how my wife has reached down and gotten the strength to deal with this, but she is just a rock.
Now, did anybody else in your family have a problem like this?
None.
So this was isolated to
None.
you.
Nobody else has heart disease. My father passed away at 83. My mother is 89.
Wow, no heart problems.
No heart
Now,
problems.
do you have children?
I have one son.
Do you worry about his
We
heart?
have tested him genetically, and thank goodness he does not have the gene.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's good. How did Elizabeth Atkins and her sister are authors, and they write books on various things and do some promotions. Elizabeth, when you called me with this the other day, I was really fascinated. How did you all hook up?
Well, believe it or not, Herman found me on LinkedIn.
Wow.
He lives in Nashville, Tennessee. I live in Detroit, Michigan. And he was looking for a ghostwriter. And he found me. He called. And we had such a deep spiritual connection, even though we were complete strangers. We spent 2 hours on the phone.
So you actually wrote the book.
I wrote the book.
You were the ghostwriter because you
Catherine-
didn't have time to write the book.
I realized that after 8 years of trying to write it that I just didn't have time.
And you practice medicine, correct?
I am not practicing now
You're not
because of
practicing now because of what you...
my heart issue, yes, but I am a physician executive.
And
I work
you-
for a hospital company.
Okay, so you're still in medicine.
Yes.
And you tell your story frequently. Is that what he did yesterday over at
Yes, he did. He spoke at the Detroit Medical Center to staff and leadership, and they were wowed by his story because it's all about the purpose and passion that he discovered in the midst of the angst and the grueling, horrific emotional and physical recovery that this wreaked on him.
It seems like, I mean, a situation like yours, is this kind of a hard book to write? Is it different from the other books that you ghostwrite? Because
no.
you have some technical things that have to be really precise. It's not fiction.
Yeah,
you know?
well, it was a very collaborative effort, but he actually wrote some, but it was very academic. So I took it and I made it pop.
People ready.
Yes, exactly, right. I made it very captivating, and
Yeah.
that's what the feedback we get is, wow, this is so easy to read. I made it a story.
It's
I made
not
it
just a book
inspiring.
for doctors to read.
Oh, no, not at all.
Right.
This is for everybody to read, no matter who you are, because it's going to make you reevaluate your life, find your purpose, and understand Herman's life mission is kindness, to cultivate kindness in others, and that makes you lead a more fulfilling life.
Because the title of the book is Clear, which is what you said. They say when they do the shocking and the whole thing, clear, everybody hands off. And it says on the cover, Clear demonstrates that with faith and determination, anything is possible. And that is a quote from Bill
Frist.
Frist,
Dr.
MD, former
Frist.
U.S. Senate Majority Leader. And then the subtitle, Living the Life You Didn't Dream of, by Herman J. Williams, MD. Now, what if you had said, you know, the man who came back to life or something like that? Would that have not made it relevant, or
There's so
would it have
much
been too
more.
hokey?
There's so
Because
much
I
more.
look at this, and if I didn't know the story, I'd wonder, I wonder what this is about.
Well,
Clear.
clear is a play on words. It's what they say before they put the paddles on somebody's chest, because you could get electrocuted if you're next to the body when it gets jolted.
So you
But
got to be
clear
careful with that,
means-
too.
Yes.
If you're the administrator of the, okay.
Paddles, yeah.
Right.
But clear means having a clear vision of yourself and your purpose in life. And that's what Herman through the exercises that he provides in the book, enables one to do. This is a workbook in addition to
Right.
his life story.
Right.
We call it a how-to memoir. We say we created a genre, but it teaches you how to cultivate a purposeful life without having gone through the trauma of dying. And that's his whole point with this book.
Well, most of us, when we die, will probably remain dead.
Most
your,
will.
your story is pretty unique to have died twice, and to be sitting here doing this interview, to be working in the medical field. You're a physician, and I would suspect that your story is really fascinating when you speak to other doctors and medical personnel.
Yes, people are amazed because the odds of surviving what I have survived, just the physicians are amazed because of the statistics. So they're just like, oh my God. I mean, I can tell you how many patients have survived and gotten to the hospital, but they have brain damage. The patients are surprised because they are caregivers. They take care of people who have these diseases, and it's amazing, like you said, that I'm able. You look at me, you wouldn't know
I would
all
not
the
know.
issues that
I mean,
I've
your
had.
speech is perfect. You articulate well. You're hearing, I guess, everything that we're saying. So you don't have really any side effects from this.
Right, and so
Lucky
not
man.
that I
So
know of.
What does this make? Well, how does this change your core, your
Right.
outlook on life, the way you treat people, your level of appreciativeness, if there's such a word,
Right.
of life itself, and the blessing that you have gotten?
I just feel that after 2 cardiac arrests and surviving a stroke,
Oh,
we haven't
stroke
even gotten
also.
to the stroke,
Ooh.
but I feel like there's a reason why I'm here, and I've always sort of been at peace and believed in kindness. And so I found my mission in life. My mission is to make sure that everyone I come in contact with leaves me in some way better off, feeling good because of a smile or because of I opened the door for them or something in some way than before they met me. That's my simple
I would
mission.
imagine that it would be very irritating for you to be around negative people,
Well, you know,
complainers.
It's interesting. I mean, yes, but I find that people are so responsive. You just smile at them and they change. People, unsuspecting people, more than not respond positively to a smile or a touch, or we'll be joking about something. Oh my God, here we are, another delayed plane. People, they want to talk. They want to be kind. And so I find that more often than not.
So you're on a speaking tour, basically with your book, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're on a speaking tour with your book. And tell me the kinds of places that you go, the groups that you speak to.
Well, we've just began. We started. It all started out with a book signing at the Barnes and Noble in Nashville, Tennessee. We did some speaking there. We now have talked at the DMC. So I'm really trying to reach out to a broader audience, both physicians, patients, and just the general public, to let them know of the importance of kindness.
And he's also going to be a commencement speaker in the spring.
That's
Wow,
right.
tell us about that, Elizabeth Atkins.
Well, I mean, the word is spreading. People are reading the book. It's only 144 pages, which delivers a powerful impact in a short span. It's short, sweet, to the point, delivers a powerful punch. So that is very enticing because we live in a very Twitterized world where our attention spans are a little shorter. So it's very captivating. It grabs you from page 1, and it just keeps rip-roaring through to the end with the how to be a better person included.
So basically, I mean, how many people know someone who has died and come back? I mean, really.
Not many, but how many people know somebody who's had a serious illness? A mother, a daughter, a nephew. I mean, everybody has had an experience that either they're the caregiver or they're receiving some incredibly devastating news.
We got to wrap up. So where can people get the book?
They can get this on Amazon or on barnesandnoble.com.
And it's in hardcover, paperback, and ebook
And
format.
ebook.
So we've got something for everybody. hardcover, paperback, and ebook.
And you can buy it on Amazon?
Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Yes.
And how much is the book? Depending on whether you get the online version or hard copy.
Yeah. The ebook is $9.99 and the paperback is $14.99.
Very reasonable.
And the hardcover is, I think it's $25.99.
And hopefully we're going to see this book in libraries.
Yes,
hopefully.
And, and medical schools.
Yes.
And people who are interested in this kind of thing, because and Elizabeth is a great writer, so I can't wait to read
She's a
it.
fantastic writer.
So you're very pleased with the book.
Yes, and the reception from the book has been amazing.
All right, then. Well, they're wrapping us up. We've been here for a long 2 hours. We had the funeral people on earlier, and then we had the man who died twice and came back. No relation to the funeral home people. It's just a coincidence.
Trying to put the funeral home
right.
people out of business.
One little thing. This Saturday, January 27th, 11 to 1 p.m., Michigan State Police Diversity Recruitment Fair is at the African American Conference Center at 17227 West 7 Mile Road. State Police are recruiting. They're very serious. You can learn a lot about joining the state police. They want you to show up. So hopefully you will. Thank you very much. Good night, and until next Thursday on Mind Your Business here on 910 AM Superstation, the future of radio, I'm Charlene Mitchell. Good night and God bless. As always, I'd like to thank the friends, advertisers, and sponsors of Mind Your Business. Attorney